Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. And before we get started with today's video, remember to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. So today's video is going to be giving you books that I think are a good introduction to different genres. So let's just get started. If you want to get into graphic novels, I recommend Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. This is such a good, quick read, and so I recommend this to get into them. If you want to get into horror, I recommend Ghost Girl by Ali Melanenko. This is a middle grade, but it is kind of spooky in my opinion. For middle grade, it could be scary for young children. I really liked it. And also Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. This is a horror, but I don't find it that scary, and I think it's a good introduction to horror. Next is sci-fi, and I think The Lunar Chronicles, which starts with Cinder by Marissa Meyer, is a fairy tale inspired retelling, and it is sci-fi. It is about Cinder, who is a cyborg. And I also, for sci-fi, recommend The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This is just a good introduction to the genre, and both of these are YA. Next is classics, and I recommend starting with To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This one is this is my favorite classic I've ever read. I love this book so much. And I know that it is getting banned in some places, but it is such a good book. It is very important, and it is just a classic. So I recommend starting with this, and it is easy to read. I also recommend The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This one is easy to read. I found the story very compelling, and the wording and language was honestly really easy to understand for me. Like, there are some classics that have really weird wording, and this one I just found to be completely normal in my opinion. Next we have romance, and I recommend The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is a cute little rom-com with one spicy scene, but this is definitely an easy read and a good introduction to the genre. I also recommend Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, another good rom-com that I think is a great introduction to the genre. Love Hypothesis is fake dating, and Hook, Line, and Sinker is friends to lovers. And I also recommend The Deal by Elle Kennedy, which is the first book in the Off-Campus series, and this is a college, new adult hockey romance. Next is fantasy, and I recommend Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. This one is a good pirate fantasy, and it's an all-girls crew, and it is a good introduction to the genre. It is YA. And next is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, and this is another YA fantasy, and I recommend starting with this one because it is not very heavy fantasy. It's got a lot of paranormal aspects, and it is very easy to follow. And I also recommend The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which is another YA fantasy. And this one is about fae and fairies, so I think that this is a great introduction. It does have a bit of romance subplot, and at least the second one. I haven't read the third one yet. It is enemies to lovers, and yeah, it's got a great world, and the characters are incredible. Next, I have mysteries. And so if you want to get into mystery, I suggest starting with Guess Who by Chris McGeorge. This is about 5 people who are trapped in a room together, and people end up dead. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And next is Finley Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. This is a cozy mystery. It is so funny. It is such a good book. It is about a mom, and she becomes a hit mom. So next is contemporary, and I would recommend starting with The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This book is a sad book, but it is such a good book, and it is a great YA contemporary. Next, I recommend reading Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson, and this is just a great summer read. It is pretty chunky. It is YA though, and it's just a good, fun contemporary read. And lastly for this video is The Princess Diaries by Meg Cabot. And this is a great contemporary if you are starting out in the YA genre and are starting into contemporaries, I recommend this. This is great for young readers and older readers, but I think it is a great introduction to both contemporary and YA. And that is it for this video. If you made it this far, please leave me the yellow heart emoji. And before you go, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.